Now, you didn't start, obviously, being born into investing, but you also, at the same time, you live in Austin, Texas, you're around other investors. Tell me about what it's like being an entrepreneur that started a company, but then also living in a city that has other investors around, not investors, but like, let's say business owners around you that really really pushed you forward in the DealMachine and growing DealMachine.
Yeah. Man, one of the things I realize is you want to be around some people who are a couple steps ahead of you. Find some way to get around that. When I was first getting into real estate investing, it was just a year or two after I graduated college and I got a degree and I had a corporate job that I was about to quit. My parents were really nervous seeing that I was about to waste my degree and my earning capability because they were talking to people at their church who were accidental landlords that had their house get trashed after they inherited it. And it was such a terrible experience that they were so frustrated. And my parents were concerned because they were talking with people who had that experience. And I respectfully listened, but I said, I'm talking with people at my local real estate meetup that have done 40 deals. And I just know that this person you're talking to stressed you out, but there is a way to do it and it can get me where I want to go. And I just wanted to let you know, I appreciate you being concerned, but I'm going to go do this anyway because I feel like I have to. So fast forward, you have a successful business in Indianapolis. I felt like there was a little bit more of that alone feeling. If I had an issue about an employee that was losing me, $30,000, $40,000 and I wasn't going to get that back, I didn't feel like I could talk to my friends. I kept my friends, exactly, a lot of the same friends, but it was just not something they would understand. I almost felt like greedy, like talking to them about it because they're not in a situation where they'd lose $30,000. That might be half their salary. So as I expanded, I really was looking out for those friend groups and going to a conference like yours, a great way to get more exposure to that. Ultimately, I moved to Austin, and it's a city where there happens to be a lot of entrepreneurs. And I was just telling you before the call, it's been really nice to have like local friends that are also business related. I think that's just good for growth. I mean, to be honest, I thought I was pretty well off until I moved to Austin and realized I'm like nothing, which is like a healthy fire under your butt to actually push you forward, which is really, really good, I think.
Well, I never want to be the smartest person in the room or the most successful person in the room or anything. I want to be around the other people who are reaching better things in myself. But the key is to be in the room, to be in the area where they are. And that's what I love about being an investor that loves to be with other people and network, not just network. It's definitely, network is a word that kind of gets negative vibe because it's like a transaction. Like one person gets a deal and blah, blah, blah. No, I like building friendships. Just like you were saying, you have friendships, people that are in your neighborhood and where you're at in Austin. I personally, where I live, I don't know anybody else that invests in real estate. And so I have to go places like create the conference, Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, or go to other events where investors are. So that's great that you have that. Now, did you start investing in real estate before you created DealMachine, and how did that play out?
Yeah, it's actually exactly what I set off to do. I was working for an entrepreneur in Indianapolis. He had a small 20-person company, and I was super excited to actually take a pay cut and learn from him. Quit my corporate job to learn from him on how to build a business. And he actually had 5 rental properties. And up to that point, I was a huge fan of investing, sacrificing to invest as much as possible, as early as possible. So I started my Roth IRA. I was maxing out my contributions to that. I was making $70,000 a year in corporate, but saving half of it. And so living off of, 35 before taxes. And I just really knew that if I wanted to retire early, time was on my side with making those investments. And I was like, why do you have rental properties? I never thought about that. And he's like, well, the stock market goes up and down, but these rentals, if you buy them right and you manage them well, they're always going to go up and provide that stable income through rent that you can then retire on. He actually wanted to retire when he was 40 and he was a few years older than me. So that's when I started moving into, I got to acquire some rentals. And I actually did 9 deals. I think before I had ever taken DealMachine was not even meant to be a business, first of all. But I did 9 deals before I took a paycheck from DealMachine, from what I recall. And it was a tool I made for myself, But the only reason I even put it on the App Store was because the friends at my meetup were like, oh, that's cool. I'd pay you, to try any new marketing. I'd pay $1,000 to try any new marketing. And I was like, what? I just put what? I'm not even trying to sell this to you. So I had to come up with the name, come up with the logo, put it on the App Store just so they could have it on their phone. And I'm really glad I did that, because then other people started naturally finding it too, because I had put the keyword driving for dollars, which is what we helped with at the beginning when we first started 8 years ago. And so that just kind of started to naturally gain momentum. And I was like, holy crap, this is something that could be a business. I need to focus on helping people with this.
And I found, well, out of all the podcasts that I put out, on the YouTube channel or videos that I put out, or you name it, I put out lots of different content about all types of real estate investing. One that I know they absolutely need is how to manage a property, how to make sure you have property managers, like how to take care of the property longevity. But those don't get watched. What does get watched or gets downloaded the most is how to find or fund properties. And so finding properties, that everybody knows that's really, it's not the easiest thing to find deals. Now, if you're an investor, if you have good resources like DealMachine, or if you have good contacts, people around you, you're going to have people that, like, I don't do any deal finding at all anymore, because I have so many people sending me deals. It's like, I don't need to. And at the same time, though, you have the ability to use something like DealMachine that you use. And that's honestly, I found some of the best, I guess, software or apps is when there was a need by either the owner or the founder said, hey, this is a need, I'm going to create it for myself. That's what I do. Like, I have a calculator. It's really just an Excel sheet. I thought about putting it into an app, but I was like, oh, it's just too much work. I put it in an Excel sheet, have it locked down, and I just literally give it to my students, and they love it because it's like, breaks down everything. It makes it so simple to them. They just put in a couple numbers, and it does all the numbers, as well as breaks it down if it's a good deal or bad, or what we would suggest if it's our criteria. But from there, is because I already needed it. Same thing as you. You already needed that. I love it. Now, how does DealMachine actually help a person find properties? And is it all types of properties? Is it apartment complexes? Like, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, it works on all types of properties. We started out driving for dollars. So instead of writing it down on a pen and paper and then looking up who owns it and writing a piece of mail and sending it to the post office, you could pull out the app, take a picture of the house, and press send mail. It would tell you who owns it, and it'd send it to the owner. This past year, our 8th year in business, we actually grew 44% because we eliminated the need for skip tracing with actual better quality data, and it includes it in the subscription. So it really, truly did come out with a superior product for less price. So no more nickel and diming, 10 cents per property to get that information. For like $119 a month is the lowest plan. You could actually unlimited look up owners of properties and also who's renting it currently. But you could also export 10,000 per month, which right there would cost you like a lot of money to, like, what is that? 10?
Cost money? Like, doesn't that cost money for you? Like, how are you making money?
What is 10 cents times 10,000? You got to move the decimal place.
Yes.
It's $1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah, it would cost you $1,000. So yeah, I mean, most softwares are paying someone else to go ahead and buy the data every single time, but that's now something that's our unique advantage on, where and how we get that, but we're able to provide it, and it's better. I'm telling you, it'll tell you the person's birthday, or like the other, options might just be a couple phone numbers, and that's it. But we tell you the person's name, their birthday, how old they are, and exactly what their credit card utilization is, what their buying power is, what other properties they own. And we'll have two to three phone. There's no button to click. It's within the app. Correct. And so it's like, we got their cell phone, their work phone, their home phone. It's actually labeled which one's which. You can also see how much they make calls on those. So then when you're deciding like who of these you want to call, you could say, let me call just the owner's wireless lines, and we'll scrub the DNC list. Or let me call the owner, all of the numbers for the owner, but just weed out the people who are renting, weed out the people who are like family members. And so you just have all of those options, and it's accurate, which is so beautiful, and you don't pay for it. So obviously you're paying for it in the subscription, but it's been a game changer. It's why we've been growing so much. And so I've been really proud of that. It's really, really cool stuff.
I think it's Fantastic. Well, first, definitely, I mean, I think we have a discount if you go through masterpassiveincome.com/deal machine. Go ahead and start working with it. I mean, I have lots of students that use it. We get deals, lots of great deals from it. Is there like a secret, not secret, that's not the way to say it, but like an unknown resource or hack or something that's like, hey, in DealMachine, not everybody uses this. They wish they would, they just don't. Is there anything like that in there?
Yeah. I would say a lot of people that knew us as Driving for Dollars, because we got big just on that. A lot of people still like don't know that data is our unique offering at this point, that you can get with that. And so that would be the biggest thing. One of the things that you can also ask the AI assistant when you're making a phone call through the DealMachine dialer, it just says, like, what do I say? And then no matter where you're at in the phone call, the AI knows you're wanting to make an offer on the house and get an appointment. It will tell you the next thing to say in real time. If you have a brain fart, or if you're new and you're nervous that you don't know the exact script, instead of a script, it's literally feeding it to you as you need it, and it can hear what they're saying, so it knows what to say next. It's a really cool feature a lot of people don't know about.
That's fantastic. I mean, because especially when people are getting started, they don't really know what to say to sellers. I mean, that's a harder thing. It comes with repetition, comes over time. You'll figure out, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have said that. You won't say that to me anymore. But if you have like some sort of script or some way that walks through their process, that's fantastic. I'll give you a quick example. When I coach people how to invest in real estate, I show them how to find the right people in their business. And one of the main ones is a property manager. Most students, they would call up property managers just like all the quote unquote gurus tell them that. Hi, property manager, I'm looking to build my team. That's a keyword property manager. Oh, great. Here's another one of these people that have no clue what they're doing. Then they start, I'm looking to buy, I haven't bought any yet. They start qualifying everything. They give way too much information. But what does a real estate investor, hey, property manager, my name's Dustin. I'm an investor. I'm looking for a good property manager in this area. Right? Can you tell me about your services? That's it. I don't do anything else. Puts them on, I won't say defensive, but puts them and say, hey, this isn't somebody that's
right.
Just like talking to a seller, a potential seller for a house. And you know this, if you are talking to a seller about only thing that you can get out of the deal, they're not going to care. They only care about themselves. Meaning, if you help them, you ask questions about them so that you get out information that helps you to understand how to better serve them, all the better.
How long have you been getting deals from your podcast audience or your conference goers? Or, you described like you don't really do any outbound marketing anymore because you've got so big. You help people JV those deals they find and actually make money from them together.
All the time. I literally get emails all the time from anybody number one, I tell everybody, it just doesn't have to be like the podcast. Before I started the podcast, because I was telling people I was an investor from the very beginning, they were starting to, hey, I want to invest with you, or I have this, I need to rent a property, or I need to sell a property, whatever it might be. So that's the first thing. But then the more you get your voice out there, that you're an investor, the more people that know you're an investor that would actually want to work with you. Like I even have title companies sending me deals, say, hey, this one fell through. You might want to take a look at it. Like, great, that's fantastic. And so that's what I love to do is everybody that I know knows me as a real estate investor. Because when somebody asks, hey, what's your name and what do you do? Well, I'm Dustin Heiner. I'm a real estate investor. I don't say I'm a podcaster. I don't say I'm a coach or anything. I'm a real estate investor. Now we can get into everything else, but that's what I want people to know me because I want all the deals to come through. Now, I've raised money. One deal recently just put out a couple podcast episodes. We raised $1.5 million for a 355-unit apartment complex here in Nashville, and it's a great return for all the investors. Like they're making great money because it's a great deal. So we asked the question, how many deals and how many? It's almost unlimited because they just keep coming in. In fact, I just today closed on a property in Akron where I met somebody at RoofCon, Real Estate About Those Conference, met him there. Probably, I think I met him on the first time, like 2022 was our first year. Met him there, kept in contact, and then he said, hey, I'm selling this one property. I bought it from him, lower discounted rate, $67,000. It's going to be about $18,000 to fix up, but the ARV is like $130, and I'm going to be able to rent it for $1,300, $1,200 to $1,300. So it's the contacts. Real estate's about people. It's not about properties.
Got it. That's great, man. I'm glad you're able to have that type of flow where you don't have to do your own outbound marketing anymore. If you were, I was going to say, I'll give you a discount on DealMachine.
Thanks, man. Is there any hangups? Not hangups, but like words of warning, like in doing something. Is there something that like, okay, if you're gonna do this, watch out for this?
Yeah, I'll try to say, if you're going to make calls, you want to strictly make offers on properties. You have the ability to see who's on the do not call list and who is not. So if you're calling the do not call list as an investor, it's totally fine if you just say, would you like to receive an offer on your house? If you're an agent and you say, hey, I would like to wonder if you want to list your house, that can get you into trouble because you're now selling something. You're not allowed to sell things to the do not call list. So just wanted to explain that. A lot of our investors are calling the DNC list under that guidance that it's not telemarketing when you're making strict offers to houses. And so that's based on case law. I'm not a lawyer and this isn't legal advice, but we look at the case law and, there's a big one like Jance versus Home Run Offer, which is Ryan Pineda's company back in 2023. He won because it was just an offer. It was just an offer on their house. So the only tricky part is, Keller Williams had a little bit of a settlement because their agents were asking if people wanted listings to the do not call list, right? So that's what you can't do. So just wanted to explain that for people that just, they get spooked because they don't understand. And I wanted to share that. Man, one of the things I was wondering if you've ever done like the BRRRR strategy. Did you ever do the BRRRR strategy?
I'm literally doing that right now. So I bought 3 single family homes in Akron and cash. And I just got my DSCR letter from my DSCR guy that I'm going to be pulling all the cash back out to go do it all over again. So yes.
All right. Well, during that cash out process, I actually found, I bought my biggest deal last year. I made $100,000. I found like a rundown house that was owned by an orthodontist in Utah, and he was tax delinquent. He sold it to me for $160. I put in $125, and it was worth $425 based on my comps. But when it became time for getting that appraisal, I paid the $500 appraisal fee. The appraiser came back and he said, hey, I see you bought this for $160 not too long ago, so the value must be like $300. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's way more. Well, here's what I found out is you can't really argue with an appraiser. It's actually quite tough. So what I had to do is just get a completely different lender, pay the $500 appraisal fee again. This time before the appraiser went out, I sent a whole report and it said, hey, I bought this property 6 months ago for $160. And this is what it looked like. You could see how bad it looked like. And then it said, then I put $125 into it. These are all the things I did. This is what everything costs. And now it looks like it does today. And so I know it's like hard to imagine that it could be worth $425 after I bought it for $160. But now that you know how much I put into it, maybe it's a little easier to understand. Plus, here's the 3 comps you should look at to justify the price at $425. Boom, boom, boom. Add the pictures of those houses. And of course, immediately comes back with $425. I just made his job really easy. But so this report could basically save a listener $2,000 because the holding costs for the additional time it took to like go get that other lender getting going was at least 2 weeks. And then there was like a $500 fee as well on top of that. So if you go to my Instagram and you comment report, I will send you guys this exact pre-appraisal report that was just been so helpful for me this past year.
Well, I will say that, like I said, I literally just blurted out in the middle of the appraisers are horrible. I kid you not. They've been horrible since 2010. They got smacked in 2008. All the appraisers were doing such a horrible job, way over inflating value.
There's no incentive for them to overvalue it. But if they have evidence, it's very easy for them to say, oh, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, the key is what you said. You made their job easy. That's the key. You made it easy for them, and you showed every brilliant. That is advanced investor level stuff that people wouldn't normally know about or even think to do. But when you get smacked, you like it should be appraising for $450, but the appraiser came back, oh, it's $380. Like what? No, now you're hurting me on my loan. I can't get my all that.
Yeah, you can't get your money back out to go do the next deal. So it was a game changer for me. Wanted to share that. Shout out. I got the idea from Ryan Haywood. So he's the one who gave it to me, but I used it successfully. So he said all game to share it with anyone else.
David, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dustin.
But David, super great to see you again. And I really appreciate you coming on the show, sharing some fantastic advice, and happy Deal Machine.
Thanks for listening to the Deal Machine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.